Hello students, in this class we are starting with molality. Symbol is small m and this is the next concentration term for solution. Molality can be defined as number of moles of solute dissolved per kilogram of solvent, or you can say it is the number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 kilogram of solvent. For example, if you are given 2 small m solution, small m can be pronounced as 2 molal solution. So if you are given 2 molal aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide, this means as per the definition, number of moles of solute is 2. As per definition, 2 moles of NaOH in 1 kilogram of water. I repeat, if it is 2 molal solution, it means 2 moles in 1 kilogram of water. Suppose you are given 5 molal solution, it means 5 moles of solute in 1 kilogram of solvent. So in simple, it is number of moles per kilogram of solvent. This is molality. The formula of molality is, it is number of moles divided by mass of solvent in kilogram. Now, moles can be calculated by given mass upon gram molecular mass. This is obviously with respect to solute. So, moles can be replaced by this into 1000 upon mass of solvent. Now, when you write 1000, it means the mass of solvent you need to take in gram. Now, by default, you should remember this formula because in most of the question, you will be given mass of solute and generally solvent is also given in gram. So you can remember this formula by default: given mass upon molar mass, 1000 upon mass of solvent. This is in gram. Now a few numericals with respect to molality. First, an aqueous NaOH solution is 10% by mass. You need to calculate its molality. Always start a numerical with formula. It will minimize error from your side. So write the formula first and then put the values given in the question. As per question, it is aqueous NaOH solution which is 10% by mass. 10% by mass, now we all know 10% by mass means it is 10 gram of solute in 100 gram of solution or in 90 gram of solvent. So place the values here. Given mass of solute, it is 10 because it is 10% divided by gram molecular mass, which is 40 for NaOH, into 1000. Here it is 1000 divided by mass of solvent. So here mass of solvent is 90 as 10 gram of solute, 100 gram of solution. So mass of solvent should be 90. Solve it, it is molality. You can write unit as mole per kilogram, or you can write small m also. Small m is also unit, so you can write simply small m or you can write mole per kilogram. Now one more question here. You can see for molality, this time it is calculate mass of NaOH required. Mass of NaOH means in this question you need to calculate mass of solute. It is required to prepare 5 liter 2 molal aqueous solution. So the amount of solution is given 5 liter and its concentration is 2 molal. Density of solution is given as 1.1 gram per milliliter. Now once again start with the formula and check what all variables, what all data are given in this question. First of all, this is molality. So you are given molality here. It is 2 molal solution. So m is given, which is 2 here. Then mass of solute. This we have to calculate as per question. Calculate mass of NaOH required. So let mass of solute is x. So we are given m. We have to calculate mass. Third variable is gram molecular mass. It is 40 for NaOH, 23 for sodium, 16 for oxygen and 1 for hydrogen. So total is 40. And then the last component is mass of solvent. Now this is a little challenging for us to calculate mass of solvent because you are given 5 liter. One difference you can see, it is mass and you are given liter means volume. Second problem is we need to calculate mass of solvent here, but here we are given 5 liter solution. So two challenges for us. One, we need to convert this into mass, and second, we need to calculate mass of solvent only. We are not required mass of solution. We need mass of solvent. How can you do this? Look at here. All the data are given here. I have written here. Now mass of solvent we have to find out. Total solution is given 5 liter as per the question. You can see here 5 liter. 5 liter can be written as 5000 milliliter, and I converted into milliliter because the density is given gram per milliliter. The unit of density involve milliliter, so I converted this into milliliter. Once you get the volume, now you can calculate mass by the formula mass equal to volume into density. Volume is 5000, density is given as 1.1, so it is 5500 gram. Now remember, this was volume of solution, density of solution. So mass is also belong to solution. So this mass is of solution, but we need mass of solvent. To calculate mass of solvent now, you can write solution equals to solvent plus solute, as we all know. It means solvent. Solve this for solvent. So solvent equal to solution minus solute. The amount of solution is 5500 and solute is X. So solvent, now the amount of solvent is 5500 minus X. Now we get all these values. Molality is 2. Mass we have to calculate. Gram molecular mass is 40 and mass of solvent is 5500 minus X. So you have all the variable other than X, and with the help of this you can calculate mass of solute. One more similar type of question. This is 5 small m NaOH. Now you have to calculate its molarity. Capital M you have to calculate. Density is given as 1.1 gram per milliliter. So only three variables given here. 5 molar solution, density is given. We need to calculate its molarity. Once again, because we need to calculate molarity, start your solution with the formula of molarity, mass upon GMM into 1000 upon volume of solution. Now if you check here, you have a number of unknown variables like molarity we have to calculate, and there is nothing given about mass as well as volume of solution. You are not given here mass of solute, as well as you are not provided anything about volume of solvent or volume of solution. So when you are not given appropriate number of variables, whatever given, try to explore it. Try to explore 5m. What do you mean by 5m? So here you can write 5m means 5 moles in 1 kilogram of solvent. This is as per definition of molality. You can write 5 moles in 1 kilogram of solvent. Now once you have explored this 5m, now you have first data mass upon GMM, which can be converted into moles of solute. So you have now moles of solute as 5. I repeat, mass upon GMM, this is equals to moles, and moles equals to 5 after we explore this quantity. So we get this number, it is 5, it is 1000. Now we need only volume of solution. Volume of solution must be in milliliter, because here we have mentioned 1000, so it should be again milliliter. So we need only volume of solution now. To find out volume of solution, once again read this sentence. It is 1 kilogram of solvent. Now once again you need to do two tasks here. One, you have to convert solvent into solution, and then from kilogram to liter, it means you need to convert from mass to volume. How can you do this? Look at here. It is 1 kilogram of solvent, so you can write it is 1000 gram of solvent. Solution is equals to solute plus solvent. Solvent is 1000 and solute is 200. Now how solute is 200? Because solute is 5 moles, and you can use formula mole equal to mass upon gmm. The gram molecular mass of NaOH is 40. So mass is mole into 40. Moles are 5. It means mass of solute is 200. Mass of solvent is 1000. It means mass of solution becomes 1200. This is mass of solution. Now we need to convert mass into volume because here we required volume. So volume, you know, mass upon density. Mass of solution is 1200. Density is given as 1.1. When you solve it, it will be in milliliter. Now you have all the data to calculate molarity of solution. It is mass upon moles, which is 5, number of moles. As per formula, it is 1000, and divided by volume of solution, which we get here 1200 divided by 1.1. So it is 1200 divided by 1.1. Solve it, you will have answer for molarity. Now for competitive examination, you can directly memorize this formula also, but I do not suggest to memorize this formula because it is beginning of your journey for 2 years and you have to face a number of formula. So try to avoid unnecessary formula. If you can understand concept, then go as per concept, not as per this type of formula. Now here a question for you, just a reverse question for you. This time it is a 2 molar, it means 2 capital M aqueous NaOH solution. Density of solution, again I have take as 1.1 gram per milliliter. Calculate molality of solution. So check the solution. You are given 2m solution. Density small m you have to find out. Start with the formula of small m. It is mass upon gmm into 1000 upon mass of solvent in gram. Once again, because you are not given appropriate number of variables, explore whatever given. This time you are given 2m solution. It means 2 moles of solute in 1000 milliliter of solution. This is given in the question. 2 moles of solute in 1000 milliliter of solution. This is given. So once again, mass upon gmm, this is number of moles. It is 2. You can see here it is 2 moles. And it is 1000 milliliter of solution. You need solvent, you need mass of solvent. Here it is 1000 milliliter. It means you are given volume of solution. So first convert this volume into mass, and for this you can use formula. To convert volume into mass, you can use formula mass equals to volume into density. Volume is 1000. Here you can see 1000 milliliter. Density is given as 1.1. Because it is volume of solution, so now this is mass of solution. So we have 1100 gram of solution. So we get here mass, but we required mass of solvent. To calculate mass of solvent, this is solution. We need to calculate mass of solvent. Solvent equals to solution minus solute. Solution is 1100 and solute, this time it is 2 moles. Mass equals to 2 into its gmm, which is 40. So it is 1100 minus 80 equals to 1020 gram. Now this is mass of solvent. You get now all the quantities to calculate small m. Mass upon gmm, it is 2. We calculated in first step. As per formula, it is 1000, and mass of solvent is 1020. Solve and you can get value of molality. Once again, here you can see, you can remember this formula for competitive examination, where we are not supposed to explain with the steps, but an additional formula you have to memorize for same. You have one more numerical to do. Quickly do this question also. This time you are given mole fraction of sodium hydroxide in an aqueous solution. It is 0.05. I repeat, it is mole fraction of sodium hydroxide in aqueous solution 0.05. If density of solution is 1.1, calculate capital M molarity, small m molality. And before you start, it is a hint from my side. Whenever you are given mole fraction and you need to convert mole fraction in any other possible quantity, start with the statement that let's total moles equals to 1. Because mole fractions are related to moles, so we assume let's total moles equals to 1. When you write total moles equals to 1, it means now you can replace this by 1. And when you replace this by 1, it is total mole replaced by 1. It means moles of NaOH equals to mole fraction of NaOH, which is given in the question 0.05. So mole fraction of NaOH is equals to moles of NaOH equals to 0.05. And if moles of NaOH is 0.05, it means moles of water is 0.95 because total moles equals to 1. So half I did. Now it's your time. Go ahead. I repeat, moles of NaOH 0.05 and moles of water therefore 0.95. Go ahead and do question. You have 5 minutes to do this question. Now check the solution. So far we know that moles of NaOH, moles of water and density. This we have already predicted. Molality equals to number of moles of solute. Here it is number of moles of solute 0.05 as per formula 1000 divided by mass of solvent. Now this is solvent 0.95 gram, 0.95 moles of water. So here you have to write mass of solvent. Once again, mass equals to number of moles into GMM. Moles is 0.95 and GMM of water is 18. So solve it to get molality. And similarly for molarity, now formula is mole into 1000 upon volume of solution in milliliter. Once again, same moles 0.05, 1000, volume. You have to calculate volume of solution. Volume to calculate volume you can use mass upon density. Once again remember, you have to calculate volume of solution. So this mass should be of solution, density should be of solution. We are given density of solution as 1.1, and to calculate mass of solution, here we are using formula. This is mass of solute and this is mass of solvent. Mass of solvent, mass of solute, add them, this is mass of solution, density, we get volume, and finally we can calculate molarity of solution. So these are tough questions. Generally in class 11th you will not have to face this question, but in competitive examination definitely you require to prepare such type of questions. Now the last concentration term, normality, it is capital N. Now you will not find the content for normality in first chapter of NCERT, but later on in sixth chapter as well as in practicals we have to use, especially in seventh chapter equilibrium also we have to use normality. So it's good to prepare this concentration term because this is the only leftover concentration term as per our syllabus. As per definition, it is number of gram equivalents dissolved per liter of solution. If you compare with molarity, in molarity here we had number of gram moles dissolved per liter of solution, and in normality is number of gram equivalent dissolved per liter of solution. So only single word is different in its definition. It is gram equivalent dissolved per liter of solution. What is gram equivalent? For this I am revising what is gram mole. Gram moles, which you simply use as mole, the right term is gram mole. It's not mole. The correct term is gram mole equals to given mass upon molar mass. We all know. Similarly, gram equivalent is given mass upon gram equivalent mass. So once again a new term for us. It is gram equivalent mass. And gram equivalent mass can be calculated by gram molecular mass of substance divided by n factor, or you can say gram molecular mass divided by activity. So once you divide gram molecular mass by n factor or activity, you will able to find out its gram equivalent mass. Now what is n factor or activity? N factor or activity has different type of definitions as per nature of substance. Like for acids, n factor or activity means number of H plus given by one molecule of acid. This is also known as basicity of acid. I repeat, it is number of H plus given by one molecule, and this is also known as basicity of acid. For example, HCl can give only one H plus, therefore its n factor is 1. H2SO4 can release 2 H plus and therefore its n factor is 2. Phosphoric acid H3PO4, its n factor is 3. Phosphorus acid, its n factor is 2. And this is hypophosphorus acid, its n factor is 1. Can you explain why it is so? Now, n factor of base or activity of base, just like acid, now it is number of OH minus released by one molecule of base, and this time it is known as acidity of base. There is no such exceptional or abnormal examples here like we had in acid. Here n factor is 1, here n factor is 2, and here n factor is 3. In case of salt, it is total charge of either cation or anion. So calculate total charge of cation or total charge of anion. Remember, in a salt is always electrically neutral. The net charge is 0. It means plus and minus charge is always same. So it is total charge of cation or anion. For example, look at here NaCl. We know charge on sodium is plus 1. So its n factor is 1. Or you can calculate with Cl minus chloride also. We know charge on Cl is minus 1. N factor is never in positive or negative number. So it is a neutral number. Whether you calculate it from here it is 1 or it is here it is 1. Now it is Al2SO4 whole thrice. You all know the charge on aluminium is plus 3, its valency is 3. There are 2 aluminium, therefore the total charge of cation is 6, 2 into 3, and its n factor is 6. Or you can calculate with the help of sulfate also. This is sulfate SO4 minus 2. There are 3 sulfate, so 3 into 2 minus 6. So whether you get it from aluminium or sulfate, the answer remains same. Same here, if you don't know what is charge on PO4, it's better for you to check n factor through sodium. Sodium plus 1, 3 sodium, so it is plus 3, n factor is 3. Last, if the last is in redox reaction for reductant and oxidant, the n factor is number of electron lose or number of electron gain by one molecule. For example, here Cr2O7 minus 2, which is also known as dichromate. It is known as dichromate. You can see here it lose 6 electron and therefore its n factor is 6. Now here Fe plus 3 gain 1 electron and therefore its n factor is 1. So here it is a simple definition, either number of electron lose or number of electron gain by one molecule. So with the help of these definitions we can able to find out n factor, and if we can calculate n factor, it means now we can calculate gram equivalent mass, which is gram molecular mass divided by n factor. So gram equivalent mass equals to molar mass divided by n factor. Now normality, this is its formula. As per definition, it is mass upon gram equivalent mass into 1000 upon volume of solution. So you can see this is only difference as compared to molarity. Here you can replace GEM by GMM upon n factor. So I replaced here, it is GMM and n factor. Now if you read this complete enclosed part is equals to molarity. So in short you can say normality equals to molarity into n factor. Now this is important one for us. we can quickly calculate normality if we know how to find out molarity. Few more theoretical questions which you need to prepare here. Normality and molarity, that depends on temperature, as volume of solution depends on temperature. Now if you change temperature, then volume will change, because generally when we increase temperature, the distance between particles increase. It means volume increase, and if volume increase, then normality will decrease. So both normality and molarity depends on temperature, because the volume of solution depends on temperature, but small m independent on temperature. As you know, molarity depends on mass of solvent, and mass never change with temperature. So molality is better term to express concentration over normality and molarity. So 1 mark question, which is better term? Its answer is small m, and the reason is it is independent on temperature. Now, one more point here. Sometimes in place of mathematical number, you may given concentration in language like a semi-molar solution, decimolar solution, centinormal solution, and a molar solution. The meaning of semi is half, deci is 1 by 10, centi is 1 upon 100. So when you explore them, semi-molar, it means it is half capital M solution. Molar means molarity and semi means half. Similarly, decimolar means 1 upon 10 and molar means it is small m. What is meaning of this? And molar solution means it is 1 upon, sorry, molar solution means it is 1 capital M solution. Now next part is laws of chemical compositions. There are 5 laws we have to prepare here. One by one we will discuss these laws. The first is law of conservation of mass. Now this is the simplest law, and you have studied this law for a number of time in your lower classes, that mass neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction, or you can say mass before reaction is always equals to mass after reaction. Second law is law of constant composition or definite proportion. Now generally you ask only to define these laws, so do not give more attention to these laws. They are simple questions, just remember their definitions. Law of constant composition or definite proportion. To understand this, look at here this example, carbon dioxide. You can prepare carbon dioxide by a number of methods like burning of coal, combustion of methyl chloride, combustion of methane, combustion of glucose, and many more methods you can use to prepare carbon dioxide. So whatever method, whatever process we are using to prepare carbon dioxide, but the ratio by mass between carbon and oxygen always remains same in carbon dioxide and similar in other molecules also. I repeat, you can prepare by any possible method, but the ratio between carbon and oxygen always remain constant in molecule carbon dioxide, and this is known as law of constant composition or definite proportion. You can describe as the ratio of elements of a compound remains same, the ratio of elements of a compound remains same, and it doesn't depend on source or process by which the compound is obtained. So any method, but the ratio remains same. This is known as law of constant composition. The next law is law of multiple proportion. To understand law of multiple proportion, look at these two molecules and you can see here similarity. Both the molecules have same elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. In first molecule, the mass of hydrogen is 2. In second molecule, the mass of hydrogen is again 2. So in both, the mass of hydrogen is same. Now when you check mass of oxygen, it is 16 and 32. The ratio here 16 and 32, the ratio is 1:2. As per this law, the ratio between the ratio of mass of an element, which is oxygen here, the ratio of mass of an element which combine with equal mass of other always have a simple whole number ratio. Like here the ratio between oxygen is 1:2. So just check here, when two elements combine to form two or more molecules. When two elements combined here, hydrogen and oxygen, to form two or more molecules, then the ratio of mass of one element, here we have discussed about oxygen, the ratio of mass of one element which combined with equal mass of other, here equal mass is of hydrogen, always have a simple whole number ratio. So this ratio is always a simple whole number ratio. It may be 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, 1:5, 2:5, 2:7, but it is always a whole number ratio. This is known as law of multiple proportion. Now here we can also explain like this. This is again two molecules have same element carbon and hydrogen. The mass of carbon is 12 and 24 here. Mass of hydrogen is 6 and 4, as you can see. To justify this, to confirm this law, here we have discussed that mass of one element which combined with equal mass of other, the ratio of mass of element which combined with equal mass of other. So to justify that they obey this law, out of these two elements, one should have equal mass. Either the mass of carbon should be equal or mass of hydrogen should be equal. So here you can use simple mathematics, and in place of here it is 24 and this convert this into also 24. To convert this into 24, I take here two molecules of methane. So I didn't change the molecule. Earlier it was methane and now it is also methane. But because it is 2 methane, now it is 24 gram carbon. So carbon is same. Hydrogen is now also 8. Check the ratio here. It is 6, 8. It means 3:4. So once again it is a simple multiple ratio. So ratio between two elements, always a simple whole number ratio when they combine with equal mass of other element. This is law of multiple proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion, interesting one. Just look at here to understand this law. We have selected here three element carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Now when first two elements react, the simplest compound we get methane, CH4. When first and third react, the simplest compound is carbon dioxide, and when second and third react, the simplest compound is water. Now first compare these two compounds. The mass of carbon is same here, it is 12 in first and 12 in second. Mass of hydrogen, as you can see, in the first compound mass of hydrogen is 4, in second compound mass of oxygen is 32. Now check the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen. It is 4 and 32. It means the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen is 1:8. Now remember, there is no relation between these two molecules so far. Only one relation is both hydrogen and oxygen combined separately with a same third element, that is carbon, and with equal mass. I repeat, the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen is 1:8, but hydrogen and oxygen did not reacted with each other so far. They reacted with equal mass of third element, that is carbon. Now when hydrogen and oxygen react with each other, we know they form water. And just check the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen. It is 2:16, it means 1:8. So if they combine with each other, or these two elements combined with carbon separately, the ratio remains same. And this is known as law of reciprocal proportion. Whether they combine with each other or they combine separately with carbon or with third element, the ratio remains same. So just look at here, the ratio of mass between two elements, the ratio of mass between two elements, as per our example it is between hydrogen and oxygen, is same or simple multiple. Now we will check what is meaning of simple multiple. So ignore this for a while. The ratio of mass between two elements is same whether they combine with each other or or they combined or they combined separately with equal mass of third element. Here equal mass of third element means it is equal mass of carbon. Now what is meaning of this word here is same or simple multiple. Here in this question this is same ratio, but in some other questions the ratio may be simple multiple also. It means in place of 1:8 and here 1:8, here you can have 1:16, you can have 1:24, 1:32, or the multiple of 2. It means it is 2:8 or it is 3:8, it is 4:8. So the ratio will be either same or simple multiple whether they combined with each other or they combined separately with equal mass of third element like carbon. The best example to understand, hydrogen and oxygen do not form only water, they also form H2O2. And now the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen is 2:32. It means it is 1:16. So the ratio may be same like water or it is simple multiple like H2O2. Last law, it is law of combining gases or known as Gay-Lussac's law. As its name says, it is applicable only for gases, and as per this law, gases always combine or produce in simple whole number ratio of their volume, and the ratio decided by stoichiometric coefficient. For example, the stoichiometric coefficient you can see 1, 3 and 2. If 10 liter nitrogen react, it means 30 liter of hydrogen will react. The ratio is 1:3, and here ratio is 1:2. It is 20 liter of ammonia produced. So simple law, it is always combined or produced in simple whole number ratio of their volume, and the ratio is decided by stoichiometric coefficient. But remember, this is only for gases, and this is known as law of combining gases. What should be volume of oxygen here and volume of sulfur dioxide here? Reply quickly. So with this, the chapter 1 is over. Now we will start chapter number 2 very soon.